morning, folks, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Diane, and I just want to say hello to all my old subscribers. Thank you so very much for coming back, and a big welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to get right into this. So, sausage and bacon and all the breakfast things that we love so much. They are just riddled with all kinds of ingredients that I don't care for. And I have looked and I have searched and searched and searched to try to find the perfect one, but I haven't been able to. So I figured I would just make my own. And I'm going to be making it with ground turkey. So this way I can control what's going into it and how much of it I'm going to put in it. And I can put in my desired amount of spices. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump my ground turkey into my blender, and I've already put together the seasonings that I want in it. Now I will add some more to it, but I did some research on sausage seasonings, and this is what I have come up with, and I'm going to tell you what I have in it. I'm going to get this going real quick though, because I want it to be a little mixed before I start putting in my seasoning. So I'm just going to put it on stir. And here's my notes, and this is what I have. And you can just adjust this recipe to what you want, or put in what spices you want, leave out what you want. But basically what I found that they have in it is the following, and I have adjusted it to what spices I like the most. So with those I'll put more in. So I'm just going to give this a shot, and next time maybe I'll adjust it. So that's perfect. So what I have in here is 1 teaspoon of sage, because I'm making just sage sausage, and I have 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of parsley, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, with actually almost a whole teaspoon of black pepper, and a half a teaspoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of red pepper, and a half a teaspoon of coriander. And I'm just going to sprinkle this in here, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. So this is just the first part of the video. Get that to stir. I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator and let it set. Like I say, it's early. And then tomorrow, I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to make sausage and gravy, and we're going to put together breakfast bowls. The breakfast bowls are going to consist of fried potatoes on the bottom with onion, and then I'm going to come in with my sausage with eggs on the next layer, scrambled eggs on the next layer, and then turkey gravy on the top. So this is looking real good, y'all. And that didn't take any time, y'all. Pop this off. And so this is what it's looking like. It smells good. I won't know until I taste it. It smells good, but it seems like I need to put maybe a little bit more sage in it. So I think I'm going to do that right quick. And then I'm going to stick it in the fridge. And just let it set till in the morning. And then we're going to put our breakfast bowls together. So I'm going to put in yet another teaspoon of sage right into that mixture. We're going to let this mix. I'm going to smell it again, and then we're going to stick it in the fridge. I don't think I need to put anything else into it. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, I think adding the extra sage is a winner. And scrape off what little bit stuck to my beater. Not much at all, which is great. And there it is. That looks good. It smells good. I think I'm going to put in a little bit of my olive oil. I just feel like I need to put a little bit in. So maybe that much. Maybe 2 2 tablespoons full of it. And I'm just gonna mix that up. I don't think I need to put the blade back on because I'm going to be putting all of this into my skillet, and it looks good. And so now what I'm going to do is, it's got a plastic bag just to store it in. No biggie. And I'm just going to go in here and get this out. Stick it down into the plastic bag. So no dishes to wash. And I'm just going to zip this up, stick it in the fridge. We'll come back in the morning and we will put together breakfast bowls. This is going to be a breakfast bowl. It's going to include a layer of the breakfast turkey sausage that I made up. So we're continuing on with that. So we're going to have a layer of fried potatoes with onions, a layer of scrambled eggs, and the breakfast sausage and gravy will go on top of it. Again, this is the turkey sausage that I made. So, and I got my lard that I'm going to be frying my potatoes in. I got my potatoes still soaking in vinegar water. So this is just vinegar water. They've been soaking for a while. Then I'm going to scrub them with the Scrub Daddy. We're going to leave the skin on just to save us some time. We're all about getting out of the kitchen as soon as we can. On a Saturday morning, we don't want to be tied up with a whole lot of cooking. Okay, we want to get our day done. I'm going to dump this over into my skillet, and I may or may not add extra sage or seasoning to it. We will see, but for now this looks good. I'm just going to let it sit in this pan and cook. Okay, so I'm just going to let this continue to fry like this, and then I'll go in and start chunking it up a little bit as it cooks. But I'm gonna, after it browns, I'm going to put in a third of a cup of all-purpose flour. And let that cook into it. We're gonna do all of this into one pan, and then we're gonna start adding our milk. Sorry, you can't see that. And that's going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 cups, depending on how thick or how thin you want your gravy to be. And we're going to add lots of pepper. I'm not going to add any salt to it because my husband, I put salt actually in the turkey sausage meat, but my husband will add extra salt. So in order to keep him as healthy as I can, I'm not going to add any extra salt to it. We'll just add salt if we need it onto our bowls as needed. So while this is cooking, I'm going to begin scrubbing my potatoes and getting them all clean. Just scrub them down real good with the Scrub Daddy. Get them all clean, and we're going to chop them, and we're going to get them going in this skillet right here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on and get that preheated so that we can begin that. I'm going to put my lard that I got from Walmart into the skillet. May as well use it. I used it in the cake, so I'm going to use it. That's what I remember my grandma using lard. In fact, I remember my grandmother, she made her own lard. Oh my goodness. I mean, getting back to just natural cooking and cooking the way that our grandparents did, it brings back a lot of memories for me. I remember my grandmother would do a lot of canning and a lot of drying of fruit out in the sun on tables. I mean, they worked really hard back then to provide food for the family. So we need to get back to that too. You know, it takes a little effort, but it's well worth it because we're cutting out all the preservatives. Just like in making, you know, our own sausage here, you know, we're cutting out the preservatives because there's no preservatives in this. Because it's just fresh turkey meat. Of course, you can use your own pork. Just buy your pork and grind it up. You can even put your sausage or your pork into a blender, a food processor, and a little at a time, and just let it whirl and whirl, and it will become brown. So it'll be great. That's all you'll need to do. So I'm just going to continue to chunk this up, and when I come back, we'll have our potatoes going. Okay, so I'm coming back to check on this, and it is a bit more chunkier than what I would like it to be. So I'm just going in and I'm kind of breaking up some of these chunks. I think what I should have done was just took the ground turkey right out of the pack and put it in here and browned it, and then added my seasoning to it, or just added my seasoning to it and stuck it in the refrigerator instead of blending it. Because I think what it did was it compacted the turkey together and it made these chunks. But I think my husband will appreciate the chunks, but some of them were a little too big. So I'm going in, I'm just breaking them up, that's all. And I mean, it actually looks good. It smells good. I'm so sorry, y'all. My voice is going in and out. I'm kind of stuffed up. I've been fighting these bronchitis for over a month and a half. And I still haven't gotten over it. Take all the medicine the doctor gave me, but still a little nasally. So if you hear me and I don't sound quite right, it's because of this bronchitis that I got. Okay, so that looks good, and we're going to let this continue on. Okay, y'all. I think that looks good. That's pretty much where you want your sausage to be at as far as size. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually taste the piece of it, because I want to see if I need to add any more seasoning to it or anything. So let me see if I can find me a little nice size little hunk. And we're going to give it a quick taste test. You know, it's extremely hot. Smells good, y'all. Texture's great. It's good. It's really good. A healthy alternative if you can't eat pork or wish not to eat pork. And mine is spicy because that's how I want it. I think I'm going to add just a tad bit more of sage, but I really don't need to. But what I'm thinking about is the gravy. And here's my sage. It's the gravy that I'm going to add to it. I'm thinking that I want it to have that real country sagey taste. So maybe that was about half a teaspoon of sage that I added into that. It tastes really good. Y'all, my husband doesn't know that I'm making turkey sausage for his breakfast. So he may not even know. He may not even know. Okay, perfect. So at this point, I'm going to add my flour. This is 1/3 cup of flour. We're just going to sprinkle that in there. And let this just cook in there. Remember, this is just one pot. And because this meat doesn't have a lot of grease, we're going to add some olive oil. Olive oil is my go-to thing. I mean, I find that it works great in everything that I go to do, because, of course, you know, when you're using sausage, the sausage will make a lot of grease. So because this doesn't have a lot of grease, and I can see that I need to kind of cook this flour through, I am going to, add that oil into that. And of course, if you wanted to do a semi-healthy version of this, then I guess you could do half sausage, half turkey. And that way you would have the best of both worlds. Hey, that'll work. And so we're going to just let this continue to cook like it's to cook the flour into the sausage, and it's going to absorb the flavor. But yeah, it's good. It's really good. A healthier alternative than the pork. We don't eat pork, but we don't eat it that very often. Okay, so I'm just continuing to let this flour cook through. Takes just 3 to 4 minutes. I like to make sure mine is sitting in there real good. All right, and while that's going, I'm going to take my potatoes that I have washed. I'm going to take just a clean towel and dry them off. Okay, and then we're going to start to chop them. But first let me add my lard to my pan. I'm not going to use very much because that may be too much for my liking. This pan works really well. It's nice and coated. We're just going to add our potatoes in there really quickly. And don't worry, it'll cool. The potatoes are cooling the pan down. I'm just going to cut them in half again, and then slice them off. We're going to throw them in now. Everything we're doing, we're just doing this as quick as possible. See how easy they are floating around on that pan? That's because the pan is nice and seasoned. All right, we're going to let these, I've cranked my stove up a little high. And we're going to let these get nice and brown. Then we're going to cover them up after they get nice and brown. All right, we're going to move on over here while our potatoes are browning to the desired of your brownness that you want them at. Turn my heat up on high. And we're going to start pouring our milk in. Go slow. Like I said, anywhere from 3 to 4 cups of milk with a third a cup of flour is what you're going to be aiming for. All right, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit there. Now, let's see. We're going to start pouring our milk in to the sizzle. Just a little bit at a time. And that flour is going to cook off of the meat because it's attached to our turkey sausage meat, and it's going to cook off, and it's going to start to thicken up. And as it thickens up, of course, it's going to make the gravy, and it's going to be delicious. Now, if you don't like sage, hey, go ahead and use whatever seasonings you want. You know what you like, so you just use what you like. That's the key, to use what you like. Well, that's looking good. We're going to add pepper, and I'm going to add a generous amount of pepper because we do like pepper. So, a generous amount. Because it's thickening up on me. More milk. This is whole milk. You know, I have a thing about low fat, no fat. I don't want no parts of that. There's a doctor on YouTube. His name is Dr. Amen, and he's I don't know his official title, but he works on the brain, or he studied the brain, and he says that our brain is so many percentage of fat, and so we need fat for our brain to stay active. So I believe what he says, as far as that is concerned. I've seen it in other places on the internet too, or on channels, and so yeah. I'm believing his word on that you need the fat. Now, you need a healthy fat and not bad fat. So you want to always make sure you get a healthy fat and not a bad fat. I'm going to put a little bit more milk into it, just sticking it up. My potatoes are looking good. I want to get a little bit more brown on them than what I got right there. And then I'm going to chop onion over top of it, cover it up, turn it down, let those potatoes get soft, scramble some eggs, and we're going to be ready to eat some breakfast. This is looking good, y'all. All right, more milk. Remember, don't add all that milk at once, little by little. Be encouraged that you're doing this for your family and your loved ones, so you want it to be the best it can be. All right, that's looking good. We're going to let that continue. I've turned it down now. More pepper. I know, we love pepper. I'm sorry. You don't have to do that, but we do love the pepper. So depending on the thickness of the gravy, and remember, of course, as gravy sits, and it's going to sit because we're making bowls to last us for the week. So the gravy will thicken up some more as it sits. It's smelling good. So I'm going to put my onion in now to show you what it looks like. Yep, looks good. Okay, so our potatoes are gone. I went ahead and I covered them up. And now I'm just chopping my onion. And I'm just slicing it. And then I'm just going to cut it in half so we get hunks of onion in our potatoes. And at this point, you want your setting to be down on low, because right now you've crisped up the outside of the potato. So now you just want your potato to cook through and be tender. So the outside is done, it's fine, and this is the size that I've chosen. I'm chunking mine up too. You decide what you want. You know what you like and what your family likes. So you decide what you want and you do that. All right, we will give them a stir, okay? But at this point, they're already crisp to my liking. I'm going to put some salt and some pepper on mine. It's about a fourth of a teaspoon each of pepper and a teaspoon of salt. And I just do that because I know my husband's going to add extra salt to it. He just can't help himself. We're going to let those tender up and get nice and tender. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to let it simmer too long, because the longer it simmers, the more it's going to thicken up. And so, but let's see if we can get that so you can see it. That looks good. That's where I want mine in. Okay, very good. So I'm going to cut this off. Taking it off the heat, I'm going to put it in another container. And then I'm going to start with my dinner. So I got these cute little different color potatoes that I'm going to soak in water. Yes, we're going to have potatoes for dinner too. Okay, we love potatoes. So our sheet pan dinner, which is going to be quick, it's going to cook in 20 minutes, and we're going to be ready to sit down and eat that. Just heat it up a little bit and we'll be ready to eat that. But it's going to consist of potatoes, sausages, the smoked sausage, smoked beef sausage. I have 2 of these, and Brussels sprouts. Hubby doesn't really care for them, but I give them to him because, hey, this is a good vegetable to have. And I'm going to chop up probably this red onion that I have, because I've had it and I want to use it up before it goes bad. So I'll throw that on there too. I'm going to line my pan with parchment paper. I got some parchment paper. And I'm going to spread a little olive oil on the bottom of the pan. Even though the parchment paper is non-stick, I always just put a little bit on there. And we're just going to put this in the pan and we're going to cook it and we're going to be ready to eat. So I want you to see what a big bowl of that this makes. I think this is a 3-quart bowl. I'm not sure. But it's cornware. But it smells good. Look at that. So I'm going to cover it up with some, and let me see if I can pronounce it right. I always say seal and press, but it's press and seal. I love it because it's a thicker paper. My husband can handle it because, you know, with that other stuff that just cleans. Oh my gosh. It's like he's in here fighting himself trying to get that stuff on. So even though this costs more, I get it. Just so I don't have to see the fight going on in the kitchen when he's trying to cover up stuff after I cooked. So boom, that's covered up. We're gonna let it stay covered up and stay warm. Okay, our breakfast is just about done, and that's taking no time to do. Now we're gonna crack our eggs and put our eggs in here, and I'm gonna scramble them up. You could fry them if you wanted to, but I love scrambled eggs. He does too, but he loves his with cheese. So these are just gonna be plain because we got gravy. And I did find out through my husband, who cleans the kitchen and puts all the food away, that we do have biscuits left from the other morning. So we've got enough biscuits to have biscuits and gravy this morning. Sausage, biscuit, and gravy this morning. So we're gonna pour it over some biscuits and have those fried potatoes and onions and eggs. It's gonna be great. So this is almost, I think I was missing maybe, I don't know, 3 eggs, but this is the 18 pack of eggs. And it's going to take that much in order for us to be able to have some throughout the week. I got a tip for you. If by chance you get a shell in whatever you're making, you know, sometimes it'll crack off and be in there. Just use the shell to go in there and get it out. You'll find out that it'll come out a whole lot easier because what it is that shell wants to be with the shell. And so it'll just attract itself to it. So just kind of, wherever it's at, just kind of dip right there next to it and you'll see it'll run in there. Now you may have to sometimes take your finger, kind of isolate it so it won't get away, because once you start moving the shell away, then the other piece of shell will start going back to floating away. So, you know, sometimes you can just go in there and it'll go in there and you can just scoop it out real quick. But there's a tip for today. Now, I'm not going to put anything in my eggs. I'm just going to scramble them. I'm just going to scramble them just like this because I've got enough seasoning in my sausage and gravy and enough in my potatoes and onions. So I'm just going to scramble them like this. But I do want to scramble them real good. I'm going to add a little bit of, because I had it, bacon grease to my pan. Again, we are just throwing on flavor here, y'all. So just a little, not even a teaspoon full of bacon grease. Okay, so now we're going to pour our eggs in. I do have my scraper, so I can get every bit of egg in there out. All right, that looks really good. All right, now we're going to start to stirring this. Okay. And this is coming together. After these are done, we are completely done with breakfast. We're going to move on to our dinner. Breakfast took the most time. Dinner is going to be really quick because we're going to just throw everything on a sheet pan, stick it in the oven, and we're going to be done for the day. Husband will clean the kitchen, and I'll get some things done that I need to get done before it gets too late. Okay, these eggs are coming together very lovely, very nice. And I want mine all the way done. So, not a hard scramble, but not by no means a soft, runny scramble. But I like them fairly tight. Okay, not hard, but nice and soft, completely done eggs. Okay, because they will continue to cook even after you take them off the heat for a little while because there's still heat in them. So this is where I want my eggs to be at. Okay, now I'm going to put them in this dish. Again, I have another dish that I inherited. I inherited this from my father when he passed. So I'm going to put them in this dish just so they can cool. Then we're going to start to assembling our breakfast bowl because everything is completely done. And I'm going to fix my husband's plate. Okay, we're going to start assembling our sheet pan meal for dinner. And I have a little tip for you, which works only with parchment paper. You do not need it with aluminum foil because you can get that to go where you want it to. Put a little water in your pan. Just get your pan, the bottom of your pan wet. And maybe have just about a quarter size of water loose in it. And it'll look like this. But you don't want it soaking wet on the bottom. And it won't slide around on you. It'll be nice and in place. So this is going to go together really, really quick. I begin to slice our potatoes. We're just going to cut them right in half. I used maybe half of the bag. I didn't need the whole bag because this particular meal is going to cook even quicker. You want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 450. Remember, we're going to let it stay on 450 anywhere between 5 to 7 to 8 minutes. Then we're going to go ahead and knock it down to 425 and let it cook the remainder of the 20 minutes. So set a timer, set 2 timers, set a timer in case you forget how much time you got. That would be me. So I usually set the timer on my stove and set the timer on my microwave so I don't forget what my whole time is. So we're going to start off first with our potatoes. And we're going to get our potatoes going. Get this to where you can see it. And of course we're going to go in with our olive oil, y'all. So I'm going to put in a nice amount of olive oil. And you know I like dill. We're going to hit it first with a little bit of salt. And again a little because my husband, and that's pepper. Then we're going to go in with some dill weed because I think potatoes taste really good with dill weed. And we're going to put in a generous amount of dill weed. If you've never tried it, go ahead and give it a try. You'll be amazed at how great it tastes. Just totally amazed. And then we want to give that a good tossing. So we're not going to change out the bowl because we're just going to slap these in here like that. Make this our first roll. Let me turn it around because I think this side is a little bit lower as far as the paper is concerned so that you can see it. There we go. And so next we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our red peppers. And nothing in the world is going to go on the red peppers, but we're just going to coat them in a little bit of olive oil, okay? Just a little. So we already got some in the pan. So just a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to give them a nice, generous coating. You don't need any salt or pepper on these red peppers because they're just a nice sweet. And so we're just going to make a nice little sweet roll of the peppers. And they will cook in no time and they'll be nice and sweet and tender. And you'll enjoy it and be glad you had those. All right. So remember, if you start to run out of room, just kind of squish everything back a little bit because I got this row of potatoes that's it's too wide. So if I need it, I'll just squish it back. Then I have an onion that, again, I needed to use. I'm just going to chunk this up really big. Nice big fat chunks of the onion. And we're just going to lay that in there. And if for some reason we don't eat all the onion, I got it that I can put it in anything else. If I'm doing an omelet or whatever, it's already been roasted. I can just put it in there, but we like onions, so I'm pretty sure we'll eat them all. Again, a nice little drizzle of olive oil. We're not gonna put anything on that onion, okay? Just a little bit of olive oil, and just to coat it, so that when it's cooking, it doesn't completely just roast up and burn on you. So we're going to lay our onions in there next. Then we're going to lay in, the next thing that we put in is going to be our Brussels sprouts, which my husband does not like, but he will eat them because I keep serving them to him. Just beautiful, beautiful. All right, and then we got our Brussels sprouts. These are just Brussels sprouts from Great Value, Walmart. And then with our Brussels sprouts, of course, we're going with a little bit more olive oil because we want to coat them just a little bit. I don't want to do too much. But these are going to be so good. I'm going to put pepper on these. Okay, no salt. I'm just going to do the pepper. But so we're going with a little bit of honey. All right, that is great. Give that a toss. Then I'm going to wash my hands up after I lay these down. I'm going to have to scooch this over. I can tell you right now. I'm going to scooch those potatoes because potatoes have plenty of room. I'm going to scooch them over. And then I'm going to lay down my smoked sausage. All right, that looks good. Okay, so same thing like with the foil. I'm just going to take my parchment paper and I'm making a little whale in there just to keep it separate because these will get real greasy on you when it starts to release the grease. And I'm going to lay my smoked sausage in here and I'm not going to cut it. Okay, I'm keeping it whole. And we're just going to lay them within each other just like this. And that way, this is keeping the grease from getting into our vegetable. All right, y'all. I'm going to stick this in the oven and get it going. Okay, guys. We've eaten our breakfast. The sheet pan dinner is in the oven. And I'm going to assemble one bowl so you can see what it looks like. So, guys, I got these bowls at Walmart. Strange. It only came 5 to a pack. I mean, you would think it would be 6. It's an uneven number, 5 is. But at any rate, it came 5 to a pack. So they're totally reusable. We put them in the microwave and they work fine to heat them up in the microwave. And they're safe in the dishwasher. And they're really a nice large size in there. So if you like the content that you've been receiving, please subscribe to my channel. I would very much appreciate it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in, and I'm just reaching because I got them sitting over here, and they're actually, it's been some time, but they are still pretty hot. So I put a generous amount of potatoes in the bottom. You can see where this is going, but I'm going to definitely let everything cool. Then we're going to come in with eggs because we really want a lot of eggs on that too. I like a lot of eggs, guys. A lot of eggs. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Boy, that's hot still. Can't believe it. We're going to come in with our sausage gravy right on top there. And because it's made with sausage turkey gravy, because it's made with turkey, I'm not going to feel guilty at all about eating as much of this as I want to, because I control the ingredients that was in it and the seasoning and the amount of salt. So this is what we're going to be having for breakfast throughout the week. I'm going to show you also the oranges that we're going to be having. When I go to work in the morning sometimes, I will just get me some, put it in a little baggie, and take them with me. And this seals up very nicely. Just pops out. Air comes out of it and seals up, and I put it on my top shelf in my refrigerator. So then because you sliced it, then all you need to do is just pull it back like this. You can stick your finger in it and see how easy that is and just eat it. Whoops, let me fall apart on me. Okay. Then we do, guys, so I got another little breakfast hack that I want to show you, which is really good for you moms that have children and you want to get some fruit in them before they go to school, or just get up in the morning and give them something to kind of tide them over until you can get breakfast done for them, is oranges. And we've really been eating a lot of oranges since we both had the flu, and I had bronchitis on top of that. So I do wash my oranges first with the Scrub Daddy because I don't know what done crawled, because you see this is just that little net bag that it's in. I don't know what's done crawled over it, urinated on it, or did whatever on it. So I always wash them first. And then I just cut the ends off using a sharp knife. You cut the ends off. I don't cut very much off. And then you just take and you cut through the center, almost down to the core. And then you slice it to the thickness that you want to slice that. Okay? And I put them in this container that I have, which works very good. And I normally just set them up like that. Okay, so the sheet pan meal is completely done and ready. Of course, that took only 20 minutes, maybe 23. But here it is, and look how delicious that looks. Yum, yum. So all we've got to do for the rest of the day is just relax and enjoy our day together. Here's our breakfast for the rest of the week, and we got those orange slices in the refrigerator on the top shelf. And I just want to thank you all for watching. And remember that the recipes are located in the description box down at the bottom. But with the sheet pan meal, you just put whatever you want, whatever protein you want and whatever vegetables that you want on your sheet pan, and you cook it. I want to thank you once again, and want to remind you to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you can know when I upload a new video, and also share my video with your friends and your loved ones. Again, I want to say thank you and be blessed.